Welcome back, brethren, to the 801st Legion podcast, a Star Wars Legion podcast. We know it's been a minute, but we're so excited to talk about some awesome things today. So without further ado, punch it, Kyle.
Hello there.
You must unlearn
The dark
what you
side
have
of the
learned.
Force is a pathway to many abilities.
Red,
some
green, or red,
considered
green, red.
I know it.
The gods will do!
Sorry about the mess.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
General Kenobi.
Let's rearrange some architecture.
Is it possible to learn this power?
I thank you for your hospitality.
Twice the pride, double the fall.
Impressive. I'll show you the dark side.
And we are back. What's up, everybody? Kyle, how you doing?
You say it's been a minute. It's been only 3 weeks. Come
I know.
on.
It's funny because if we miss a week, then
We hear about it.
We hear about it. We hear
Yeah,
texts,
so
chats, discords, everybody.
just so you guys know, because not everyone's in the Discord or anything like that. My laptop decided to not work for a bit there, so I got that fixed. And then when I got it fixed, my charger decided not to work, so I had to get that refreshed. It's all my fault, really. Just blame it all on me.
Well, then family stuff came up, so it's been a heck of a time.
Yeah, but I mean, again, we do we can't promise, but we do aim to get
We aim
at
to
least
please.
offensive stance. 2 aim tokens. we aim to get an episode a week, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. So we're sorry.
We're sorry, but
Anyways, though, we had some cool stuff happen this last couple weeks. Though
we did.
something happened today. It was
Today,
this morning. Do you remember what it was?
I think it had something to do with double vision.
Double vision.
Anakin.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He's out.
Sorry, dude. I just it escaped me. It's not like the whole internet is burning down over it or anything like that.
No, it's not like discords are blowing up everywhere. Heated discussion left and right about this boy. That's kind of one of the main topics today because it's been a crazy month, right? So we want to talk about Anakin, obviously. We also ran a tournament, and we'll cover that a little bit as well. But my gosh, this guy.
This boy
is something. He's something else. What do you think?
No, I think you're something else is the way to describe it. I think it's the best way we could go about this from this point is I think we should both state how we feel about him initially, and then we'll kind of go over his card and then his command card, all of his stuff that got spoiled today, and then we can go from there. Because I feel like so far we both have different takes on is Anakin going to be good? Is he going to be bad? Is he somewhere in the middle? I think we both have separate takes on that. So just real quickly, Matt, how do you feel about Anakin? Do you think he's going to be good? Let's cut out the middle ground. No fence sitters in this game of Legion of ours.
No fence sitters. Yeah, there's always a winner. In fact, there's no ties ever. There's always a winner.
How about this? You could be a 51% or a 49%, but you can't be nah, he's okay, and be a 50%.
No,
you have to be
totally.
I'm leaning towards him being good, or I'm leaning towards him being bad.
Well, you already heard when I walked in today, so I'll kind of like to state how I've been feeling today, because I was at work and out this morning, and I took a break the second the article dropped. So I hit the article, and I went into the Discord, and I'll be honest, I was a little taken aback because I guess the expectations for Anakin have been super high. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know who in the world, maybe except for Ahsoka, the hype is higher for.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. And so all this happened, and then the article dropped. I read the article, went through everything real quick, and then I had to get back to work. So I just kind of posted about my initial impressions, and I have gone back since. But man, I don't know what to think. I'm kind of worried. I think my biggest concern, and I'll just say this right off the bat, because he's got a lot of great things. He's got a lot of good keywords. He hits hard. I'm concerned about the downsides to his card. I'll be just straight up honest about that. I feel like it locks him out of a lot of gameplay, and I feel like a good player will immediately know how to stop Anakin. And that's what I'm super worried about. New players, not so much. I think new players will have a super hard time. But I am very, cautiously worried about him. But,
So,
but that's
so you're thinking he's more on like the negative side of things? Like you don't think he's going to be quite as good
I
as you would
don't
hope?
think he'll see any play. I think competitively, there might be one or two lists, but I don't think you'll do that. I think you'll see a lot more Rex over Kenobi, and we know rules changes are coming, so that could change. But I don't know.
They release Anakin's spoiler, and before he even comes out, they errata the points. Oh, we heard your response. Ah.
Anakin now costs 150 points, super low. He's I think he's way better than Commander Luke, but I hate to say he's gonna be dead on arrival, but I fear he's gonna go the Vader route. Does that make sense? Now he has a lot going for him. We'll talk about it later. But we can even get into my concerns maybe even later.
Yeah. We're gonna go through the whole thing.
But I guess this is just like first impressions.
Yeah.
I am worried he's not going to be as good as we want him to be. Not that he's going to be bad, but I don't feel like he's going to be this top contender to be like, oh, you got Anakin on the table. It's big. I think he'll be a little underwhelming. What do you think, though?
So I'm leaning on the side of I think he's really good. I think he's looking really good. A couple things about that. I'm sure we're like we just said, we're going to get into detail. But just right off the bat, I think Anakin is going to be a character that you have to play perfectly. And if you don't, you're going to get caught off guard. And a lot of people are going to be taken back by that and just say, oh, this person isn't good. Like I can't be caught off guard. Just because the margin of error is small, I don't think that equates necessarily to that character being bad. For example, I feel like Palpatine, his margin of error is very small. Like you can't mess up with Palpatine's death ball. You know, you can't with his IRGs. Like if you mess up, it's kind of over for him. And I feel like the same is going to be applied to Anakin, and for different reasons, of course. Like the command cards all have a negative side to it, and that was a big thing we were talking about earlier today because we both understood those command cards differently. Because I thought initially that it would be permanent. And then all these benefits, and then because it said period, that sentence was over. But when you came in, you were saying no, it's permanent period, all of the effects, right? And then Luke Eddy specified on the Legion Discord that was the case. Still, I think that took me from like a wow, Anakin is going to be amazing to wow, Anakin is going to be really good, and then amazing like 2 rounds out of the game. Like there's going to be a round or two where Anakin's going to suffer, like. No doubt. But for 160 point user of any force ability in the game that throws 5 red dice, that's just good.
It's really solid.
Well, and I made this comment on our Discord earlier too, but like I love how you brought up Vader, like how you hope he doesn't go with the way to Vader. This is the best version of Vader in the game.
By far.
Yeah.
By far.
So.
And I mean his command cards are extremely good still. But like this fixes all the problems that Vader has where he's just not mobile enough. I will say him having speed 2 and jump immediately, in my opinion, makes him much better than Vader just because that mobility's there. But the same as Vader, it's like, dude, suppression is the thing that scares me more than anything.
Yeah. I guess that's a good time to get into it too. Let's talk about his card, I guess, first off.
Yeah.
And then we can go into like those command cards so we could talk about what's kind of scary. First, right off the bat, like we said, he's 160 points. He has jump 1. Go figure, he's a Jedi. He can do that. Gemso Mastery, which I think is one of his best attributes. Do you have it pulled up? You want to read that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree. I think that Gemso is amazing. So Gemso Mastery, it's a brand new lightsaber mastery that's just come out, and it's important. Going off of the Legion Academy episode, I think we could see this on other Jedi, but that's beside the point. For Anakin, he's got it. It says, while defending, if you spend a dodge token, you gain surge defense. If at least one hit or crit result was canceled, the attacker suffers 1 wound. So, yeah, it's guaranteed deflect every time. It doesn't have the variety of deflects. You can't deflect 5, but let's be real. With deflect, you're maybe getting 1.
Well,
so it's guaranteed. It's so much better.
There's been entire games where I'll try and trigger deflect, and I get nothing to bounce back.
Not a single one.
Like, even with Obi-Wan in Sarasu Melee, like, there's nothing, like, I can't, like, I just don't do it. I just roll blocks or blanks. Like, I don't know. My dice don't like the surge result, I guess.
Right?
That's weird as a clone player.
Well, it's so funny, too, because, like, if you look at different let's be real. Like this fixes a lot of the problems with all sniper strike teams, right?
Yeah.
Because other sniper, well, I guess maybe except for other strike teams that have, like the OT trilogy that have, hyper velocity. You can't
Yeah.
even spend the
2 out
dodge.
of 4.
Yeah, you can't even spend the dodge. But that's 1 damage. You're immune pierce anyways.
Yeah.
The other ones are immune deflect. Well, this isn't deflect,
Yep.
so you're not immune to it.
And that's going to be super good, I think, too. Because, like, I don't know. Like, immune to deflect is something you don't see too often. But when it comes around and rears its ugly head, it really hurts. Like, yeah, I got this off on you. Oh, sorry, I'm immune. I'm an ARC trooper. I don't care.
I had it come up on the tournament once or twice.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And it was so funny because I was like, oh, I get deflected. And like, not this time.
Yeah.
It was weird.
That's
it was really
crazy.
weird.
Well, okay. Well, next on his card is flawed. And this is the big boy, right? This is the one of the things that's very interesting about Anakin. But it's adding that flaw card to your opponent's hand. Now, in a realistic COVID world, I'm assuming we're just going to have the silent agreement that that's not going in your opponent's hand. That's just going to be placed on the side of the table. And then when you want to play it, you'll tell your opponent, hey, I want to play
Now, make sure to lick it first.
Yeah, well, lick it, sneeze on it. Don't, like, actually get the hand sanitizer remover before you even touch it.
Right?
But yeah, so that's, and we're going to go over that flaw card, but we really just want to get through his card as a whole right now. Immune to Pierce, we know what that is. And then Tempted, which is another one of his things that I think is going to set him apart from anyone else in this game, is that you can equip any force upgrade of any alignment. Which, dude, I don't know about you, but this opens up a lot of windows for me. Because you're like, oh yeah, light side and dark side ability. What about Night Sisters? What about force power that's tied to witchcraft, you know?
Any alignment. It is not light and dark side, regular side.
Scum and villainy, you know?
Who knows? Yeah, like, who knows?
Is there a force ability that's going to be scum and villainy alone? Who knows? But the idea.
We can dream.
Yeah. Let me dream, dang it.
Yeah. People at home are shaking their heads. No, it's
not
black
gonna-
or white.
Yeah, it's never. Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
There's some Sith listening at home.
As he says in absolute. Okay, but 6 health. I'm not going to lie. That's one thing I'm like, ugh, gosh.
I know. I don't know what to think about that.
I wish it was 7, personally.
Oh, there's so many times like playing Dooku that 6 health is just enough for him to fail and die in one go. Grievous, it's enough to be like, okay, like you'll make one save. You at least, if you get caught in the open, pants down. But 6 is enough to be like, ooh, you can fail that fast. How much is Kenobi? Kenobi's
6 as well,
6
right?
as well. I think he's 6 as
Hold
well.
on. Well,
But-
one Jedi I know that is 7 is Op Luke, right? Like, he has 7.
That is true.
And I was kind of hoping that Anakin would be a pseudo. No, Kenobi is 6, by the way. Kenobi.
I
is
guess
6 as
Vader
well.
is also,
Yeah.
which isn't terrible. It's actually not that bad.
Yeah,
But
but I was kind of hoping he'd be closer to Operative Luke with courage value and health, because courage value on Op Luke is just so good.
yeah.
Like, I mean, but 3 courage is really nice, and we're going to talk about why that's so crucial here in a second. But then he has, but as far as upgrades go, he can take 2 force abilities and 2 training upgrades. And we had a couple of those new cards for both of those slots revealed.
We did. I mean, I think we already knew about offensive and defensive stances,
Right.
which obviously they're going to fill in there. Those are Jedi only or Force user only. We'll see in the future. And training upgrades, which I think these are all going to be highly contested, highly sought after. I don't think obviously the community will probably land on what they think are the best outfits, but even looking at Discord today, both our own, the 101st Legion Discord, and the actual Legion, the Legion Discord, I don't think people could really come to a consensus about many things.
Right.
So that's one that we'll have to talk about later. And his weapon, just to finish off, was just his lightsaber, Anakin's lightsaber, which is the same as Op Vader. It's 5 red, impact 3, pierce 3. Which is, let's be real, that's a spicy meatball. He in my mind, he mimics a lot of what Dooku does so well. But it's harder to do it. Like, I could see where like they were going, because Dooku is like that pinnacle lightsaber user.
Yeah.
And I see how he gets there in a lot of ways.
And this isn't my original thought. It's something that I've heard in the echo chamber that is Discord. But that saber throw is going to be like a must-have on Anakin, because that'll be 3 dice with his command card, which again we'll come back to in a second. But Surge crit and Pierce 3, Impact 3, fire support into that. That's going to be a spicy meatball.
Seems pretty good, especially. Oh, that's true with the clones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, having anything that makes fire support actually genuinely worth it, it has to be Surge to hit at the very least. Surge to crit, even better, honestly.
That's something the clones want.
Yeah, and Anakin has really no need to have Surge to crit if he's a melee character, unless if he's doing a ranged attack. Like, crits don't mean anything except for, like, if you're fighting Kenobi, I guess, in melee.
The crits? Well,
yeah.
You got to think, like, let's go up against vehicles, because I think this is a valid point also. Is Alex Davey, in the recent interview he did on the Legion Academy podcast, he talked a lot about vehicles as a huge focus. Like, you could tell he wants vehicles to be better. Kind of makes me scared for being an AAT boy myself, because I like how it's the king of vehicles. But let's be real, vehicles with armor absolutely suck, and Anakin's lightsaber is Impact 3, Pierce 3, so let's say you Surge crit, throw your lightsaber. This is magical Christmas land. I know a lot of you at home are like, no, that's never going to happen.
Make believe.
Make believe right now. Perfect situation. You walk up to an ATST, fire support, a clone Z6 in there. So that's 10 dice for the clones. You got your 3 from Anakin, and that's just his saber throw. Throws his saber. So you got 13 dice Surge crit, right? Statistically, you should probably be getting 2 or 3 of those being natural crits.
Yeah.
You're going to have aim tokens because you can do that with a new card. So you'll reroll. So you're probably going to get 3 or 4 natural crits. You've got Impact 3, so you're getting even more crits. Pierce 3. You should be doing probably 6 to 7 crits at that ATSD, and that's just normal. Let's say you're one of those people like Hot Hands McGee over here throwing dice. We have a couple. There are some people. Oh my gosh. There's some people I play against, and I'm like, I don't know how you
don't bake your dice, kids.
Yeah, no, please. Think about microwaving. But, like, that's pretty good. And then the Pierce 3 is just guaranteed. Like, you could take out ATRTs in one shot, probably.
Yep, especially since those white dice ain't saving much.
I know that.
Oh, man. Well, okay, and I love that you said that, because that also made me think of 2 other situations. Not just the Z6, but you get the Rocket Trooper. That's more impact. And here, hot off the press, I'm calling it now, clone shotgun with Pierce, making that Pierce 4, baby.
Pierce 4. Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. For the phase 1s?
Yeah. Imagine, because he has to be range 1 to 2 of a friendly unit anyway, so maybe which we know a point change is coming, and another thing that Alex Davey talked about is like adjusting some of those heavy upgrade point values to see them get more play. Now, he was kind of talking about Rebels and Empire at the time, but if that does carry over to clones and droids, which I think they should, because no one's taking phase 1 or B1 upgrades. Like, let's be real.
No, it was funny because like we've got a couple guys in our community that do, and when they do it right, it works well. But
I've only seen it with the B1 though.
Yeah,
I've never seen clone phase. Ever since phase 2s and arcs came out, I've never seen it.
Phase 1s.
Yeah, I've never seen it. But yeah, but with B1s, I have seen the range 4. That's kind of cool.
I think, well, especially
it's just as effective as their 6 dice.
Yeah, well, it's just with the meta you have now, you've had to have it because this little thing called standby is range 3. It's not range 4.
That's obnoxious.
I know. Like, I'm not gonna lie. If the standbys didn't exist, though, I would probably not be running strike teams with the droids. I'd probably just be running full BX commando units with swords, because it's so cool. When I've had it happen against Rebels. I've had it happen against Empire, where you get those guys in there and they do so much work because they're so efficient. But then you get to clones and you're like, I guess I've had my guys punched to death with those standby tokens. Like, it feels bad.
That's horrible.
It feels bad. But that may change. We'll hope.
But anyways, fire supporting with Anakin seems good. Like, I think that's something I'm looking forward to with having clones change up a bit, is more reason to fire support. Because you know me, Matt, and people in our local community know, I don't really like to do, like, every once in a while I'll do a list where it's like standby clones. Like, one of my favorite ones to do it with is like 3 phase 1s, 3 arc troopers. I like that. But overall, I don't necessarily like to stand by my clones as much as I like to stand by tank, stand by Kenobi.
You definitely are very unique in that way, and it works super well for you, especially based off what our local community has been.
So, and I guess what I'm saying though is that like I would love more of that with Anakin. Like, we know Padme is going to synergize really well with him to get suppression off and all that stuff, and Obi-Wan seems like he'll and Rex for that matter will be able to synergize really well. So I don't know.
Well, should we talk about that maybe? Do we want to break down his command cards now?
Let's do that. Let's start with. Do you want to go from 3 to 1?
Let's do that. Let's go to 3 to 1 because I feel like the 3 is the one that you're probably going to see. I feel like it's what you'll see. I don't know. Like I think it would be the one you'd see the most. But each of these cards almost could be a way to build Anakin himself.
Right.
But let's talk about it. So his 3 pip, we already know this one. This is Hero of the Clone Wars. This was revealed forever ago.
Yeah, Gen Con, right? Yeah.
It's permanent. Anakin Skywalker in 2 units. Anakin gets Exemplar and Reliable 2. At the end of his activation, if he is not at range 1 or 2 of a friendly unit, he gains 1 suppression. So we've known about that. Nothing to write home about. I will say it's super nice. This does actually issue to other units because he's like Dooku. Literally, he mimics Dooku in so many ways. And I like they did that because mimicking Dooku means that they were building off the template for what the best saber users should be. Because he's very selfish with his command cards. And that's the only one where he actually issues orders to other people. But yeah, I guess, do we want to just move to the second one?
Because like this really
we know
doesn't
that
matter.
one.
Yeah,
we know how it goes.
So it's honestly, my one thing I want to say about the 3 pip is like, it's Padme. Like it makes Anakin Padme
points
with
for
lightsaber.
Padme. Just take Anakin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally.
It's except better because Reliable 2 instead of 1.
Anakin's a little expensive. Can't take phase 2s. Don't worry. You can take less phase 2s, but you can still take them.
You'll still get the surge token.
You should still take them.
But yeah, let's jump onto that 2 pip. Why don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So his 2 pip is called "You Underestimate My Power." It's so thematic. I love the titles.
Now I want a Kenobi card that's just like, don't try it.
That's a fuck card. Like, it's like an overpowered card. And like if Kenobi is a high one from Anakin, he gets this card. Don't try it.
Now I have to make a proxy card for my flaw card.
Am I gonna have to buy a? You know what the worst part is? I'll have to buy another model of Anakin, saw him in half, and make his body 2 like bases.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. Anywho, yeah.
Okay, I'll read this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Permanent effect, as per usual with Anakin. Anakin Skywalker gains Surge to Crit, which we talked about, and Master the Force 1. At the end of his activation, if he did not perform an attack, he gains 1 suppression token. This is a little bit of a hot one. I've heard a lot of people say they don't think this card is so great. I think this card is situational, but I think it's still good.
Yeah, this is one of those ones. His 1 and 2 pip for me are his best cards. They're so powerful, but the suppression fallback, like I said before, is the thing that makes me worry. He's got Courage 3, but the order in which you play the cards is so clutch. Because like I see where the natural progression is. You want to play 3, you want to play 2, you want to play his 1. We'll get to that in a second. But I think the bonuses from this, just getting Surge to crit off the bat, immediately makes his lightsaber Dooku, except you have Pierce 3. Doesn't work against other saber users because they still have immune to Pierce, but getting that Surge to crit immediately makes your dice statistically like a little bit better. You're hitting a little bit better on those dice. Yeah. It's takes you from 6 to 7 hits.
Yeah,
like results on a red.
And actually, I think that's nail meets head right there. I think this card is what solidified in my mind that Anakin is not necessarily a one-trick pony. He is a Swiss Army knife. I think he'll be able to gel into different lists very, very well. Now, will he be the best in every single list? Maybe not. But I think if you want to run a Kenobi Anakin list, this card is what says, okay, well, maybe you send Anakin after trooper units like droids or clones or, what have you, and while Obi-Wan deals the damage because he has to attack, and you want to take advantage of Pierce 3 every round. So keep the heroes like on guard with Kenobi, have Anakin wreak havoc, Or maybe this is also the card, or maybe actually more of his 3-pip where he gains reliable. Actually, just really anything that gives him suppression, which is all of his tokens. Something they said on the Legion Academy podcast. We listened to that. Can you tell?
They're pretty cool. Yeah.
One of them threw out the idea that this Anakin could be built in a way where he's just with that new card force barrier. Maybe he's just in your back line defending with Obi-Wan like hardcore while your clones are standbying.
Oh, dude, I actually had that same thought, and it almost makes me think that might be the best way to do it. Because we've talked about with Kenobi how his cards, and we can talk about this after we go over maybe let's go over the 1-pip first.
Yeah,
and let's
okay,
go over
cool.
that, because this is like an idea. This is the one thing that gives me a ray of hope.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it because we'll talk about it.
There's so much.
There's a lot. So this is 1-pip. I'll go over it real quick. This is where the fun begins. I'm so happy those names are so
I know,
memey.
right?
It's so great. So it's Anakin Skywalker just himself again. Permanent. Anakin Skywalker gains Outmaneuver and Relentless. At the end of his activation, if he was not the first friendly unit to activate during the current round, he gains 1 suppression token. That is so strong. What I love about this card is just the fact that it gives you a training upgrade, and it gives you the Relentless. Like I said, his cards mimic Dooku's so much. Where like Dooku's is that control. It's the control. It's giving suppression. It's saying when you're going. For Anakin, it's saying he has to do attacks.
Right.
For his 1-pip, it gives him the Relentless and Outmaneuver. For Dooku, he gets Relentless and Versatile. They're both incentivized to attack and be the first people to go that round. There's so much going on there. But the fact that he gets literally, situational awareness built in here, that's just 2 points that this card adds on to his cost. And Relentless, like that's a pretty dang good one, especially for somebody who has 2 Force upgrades and needs to attack every turn.
Yeah. There's just so much to unpack there too, because like, where do the possibilities end with that Relentless keyword? Like, do you move into cover, then throw your lightsaber, or do you move out of cover, throw your lightsaber, move back into cover? Do you kind of like a tauntaun thing, or do you move onto a building, get that heavy cover, then throw your saber, or do you move, get into melee combat? It's going to be so situational with him because like you don't want to take more suppression because as we'll soon get to this flaw card, it's going to really hurt you. The number one thing I not disagree with, but I want to remind everybody when this or with this, like how they're dogging on Anakin, like, oh, he's going to get panicked so easily. Anakin panicking, I think people are making it such a big deal that they like, for example, maybe it'll be different with Anakin because he's like, you could really easily exploit his suppression value or his courage value. But Obi-Wan, for me, rarely has suppression on him. Yes, Anakin's cards give him suppression inherently if you don't do a certain thing. But you remove it at the end of the activation if you played him right. Like, if you get into melee combat and don't suffer any range attacks, you're fine to remove that card. If no one has line of sight on you, they can't shoot at you and add more suppression. I just feel like this is going to be one of those characters that is just so divisive because so many people are going to have different takes on it, and that's cool. In fact, I think it's honestly so thematic that Anakin is as controversial already as he is for the movies.
Oh, like for you and me, I think he's like our favorite character.
Yeah.
Like, this is the character that I've been waiting for so long. Like, I love the droids, but I'll be honest, Maul is going to have to be really good for me to stick with the droids for a little bit. Like, when Maul and Anakin come out, I'm probably just going to play Anakin for a while.
Yeah.
I just am. I am. Like, I've got my 501st
just
painted up. Yeah. Oh, droids. Psh, don't put those away. No, I'm just kidding. I love my droids. Sidebar. This is just so funny. I had to make this thing. So there's been like a little 40K community starting up, and with 9th edition, I picked up Necrons. I just think it's so funny that the factions I want to play in every game always end up being the droids. It's just funny how that works out. But I don't know. I'll say this about Anakin. I feel like my favorite way that I want to run him is with Kenobi and do the slow move up together.
Yeah.
We talked about this with Kenobi where like his cards are built. So first turn, you protect yourself. Second turn, you get those surges. You're encouraged to move, get those hits, do all that stuff. And then his turn 1, protects him and lets him get in there into melee. I feel like Anakin's the same way, where it's like turn 1, get Exemplar, get a lot of tokens, move up slowly past your tokens, right? Mm-hmm. Turn 2, start preparing to attack, get really aggressive. Yeah. Turn 1, this is Anakin at the height of his power. Mm-hmm. He's like balls to the wall, like, okay, now
this is where the fun begins.
This is literally the fun begins. Like, turns 3, I'm ready to go. But that's where the big thing happens with me and Kenobi is like I feel like doing that walk up slowly means you're by people, so you're not taking suppression for his 3-pip. You by second turn you can move, saber throw. That's a range 3 attack. If you move and throw, you can get that off. You don't have to hit, you just have to throw, but that's guaranteed. And his 1-pip by then you just run away from the pack, and then Kenobi can follow up. What scares me is, and this is what makes me a little worried, but I'll be honest, the more I look at Anakin, the more I'm kind of cooling off a little bit, becoming more positive. What scares me is when that order gets disrupted. Yeah. What if you feel you need to play Kenobi's command cards, or you really feel like I need this generic right now?
Oh man, I'm so glad you said that.
That blows things up, and so I like Kenobi's cards, but it just worries me that sometimes these are going to be so situational that you're like, you know what, I really need to do this thing for these other units, but Anakin needs his search crit now.
Oh, man.
And that's where I think new players are going to step away from Anakin. New players are not going to like Anakin because they're going to feel so overwhelmed.
Yeah. Okay, I'm so glad you said that because I think that situationalness adds to the fun factor with Anakin. I want to talk about his flaw card now because this leads in. I'm gonna go on freaking like train tirade or whatever. I don't know. Let's talk about his flaw card because I have a whole thought process I want to get through here. His flaw card, as we knew, is going to have negative effects for Anakin. It's called Not a Story the Jedi Would Tell. You may play this card at the start of the command phase if there is an enemy Anakin Skywalker with at least 1 suppression token. The enemy Anakin Skywalker cannot be issued orders. So, step 1. This has to be played at the beginning of the command phase. So, just to get my thought process out there on why I wanted to jump to this real quick, let's say you were planning on playing an Anakin card. This card has to be played at the beginning of the command phase, and they have to tell you that's going to happen. Maybe you were going to plan on playing This Is Where the Fun Begins. Ooh, but I don't know if I could fulfill those requirements this turn. But I have been fulfilling the requirement with Kenobi right there. Kenobi's in the middle of everybody. I'm going to play Hello There. Like, just suddenly this disruption of like, oh crap, I thought I was canceling out Anakin, but I totally left myself open for Obi-Wan. I think that situational ability talks about how he really is just going to be a strong character for somebody who's patient and that is going to probably lose their first couple games with him until they get like a good rhythm with how he operates with different units.
Like the thematic, well, it's very thematic too that like Obi-Wan's there to kind of fix Anakin's flaws. Like, he is extremely defensive, and I think the new Force abilities are really going to help Kenobi out a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Kenobi wants to dodge Force reflexes, and then he's got his Guardian and Stress and Mastery, man. He's got 3 dodge tokens already. Like, that's crazy.
Yep. So maybe Hello There, now your dodge tokens aren't even used for yourself anymore. Yeah. Now they're used to block Anakin's attacks.
And if you're ready with Kenobi to attack, you just flip his card to the offensive side for the offensive stance, and then when you pop Hello There, you just aim and move into swing.
Or maybe really you're cool. Like, no, I'll play push. Like, I don't want to play that card yet.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying though. I love that this takes place before you decide to reveal your card, because nothing is final on your command card until you reveal it to your opponent. And also, something we were talking about earlier, this is crucial that the timing is worked out with your opponent. If your opponent sees if you say, okay, is it time to flip? You flip your card. I'm going to be that guy that's like if someone comes and like, oh, wait, this turn I want to do.
Sorry. Like,
yeah.
That's such a crucial thing. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, usually we're good about take backs.
But
that's
this is like
no
the one
take back. Like, sorry.
This
like,
is the
I'm
time.
not letting you do that.
Yeah. Because like that would, like, I'm not going to just change my whole strategy after we agreed to reveal our cards. I feel like that's like akin to like going back and re-rolling an aim because you forgot to equip an aim, even though like you had moved, you know,
right?
Like you can't undo it all, right?
Yeah, and let's be real, like where does this card like have the biggest potential to hurt Anakin? It's just 1 pip, right? The pip that says he must activate first. I think the crucial thing is the one suppression. I was thinking about Op Luke, and I kind of figured Op Luke would be kind of a hindrance to Anakin in this sense because, like, you got to keep suppression on him. Well, what if Anakin gets up and he has no suppression? And then Luke Jedi mind tricks him.
Yeah.
Because you're running that build. Like, you're doing it so you can get your, and now you see your Master Well stuff. Like, there are ways to do those things, but, like,
well,
it basically makes Dooku's 2-pip happen for every faction during Anakin's 1-pip, which is super crucial.
but Luke couldn't do that to Anakin, right? Like, if I'm thinking about this right, because he's a commander operative, which you can't do
you
that
can't
to.
Jedi mind trick. That's true. But what if
So-
you, like, you serve your
Serve your
Master
Master
Well
Well.
to shoot him or something?
Right. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there are ways to do it, and, like, let's say you take a mortar shot. You're just unlucky.
Yeah.
What happens?
Fire supported mortars. Force suppression. You have Anakin Obi-Wan with Jedi mind trick on you. You have force suppression.
Oh gosh, dude. So it stacks up a lot. But
No, and I think
like there are gonna be those moments where you get got by this card.
oh yeah, well for sure, and I think there's the turn that everyone's gonna have to like. We've talked about it before. There's things in this game where you learn once, and then you should never have to worry about it again.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be everyone's game with Anakin where all 3 of these cards bite you in the butt. Like, oh, you have to gain 3 suppression because not only did you not activate first, but you also weren't in range 2 of Kenobi because I killed Kenobi. And look, all your clone troopers are way back there. Also, you're dead.
Yeah, like you're gonna have that game where the dice fail and you just lose, and you're gonna say, "Man, Anakin sucks. I'm never using him." And I guess that's where I'm the most worried, is because
And that's yeah.
because I guess the competitive community, they probably have a lot to talk about, and Anakin is great. The fact that he can jump means that you can hide him, so he's not getting shot. But let's say you play in a community where people absolutely suck. Let's say they make 40k tables to play Legion. That's not even the same game. The terrain does not work even the same. Like,
Is it breachable or?
Yeah. Is it breach? yeah. No, that's obscuring. That's not obscuring breachable. Solely different. But like, just the way people build their tables is way too linear for that. But let's say you end up in those games, you just get shot off the table. Bad game. What's gonna happen? You're gonna say Anakin sucks. But it's just those. I guess. Yeah. I said this to you earlier. My opinions on this are coming from a droid player's perspective.
Yeah.
And everybody I saw talking about Anakin was seeing it from a droid player's perspective. Because we kept comparing him to Dooku. Because Dooku is I hate to say he's the MFG, but
Let's
he is
compare
so
this 205
good.
point unit to the 160 unit.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's compare stormtroopers to ARC troopers. Like, what?
It's not even close. But like, it just blows my mind. And I think that's where I'm coming from, is we're like, his flaw card, I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. Like, what? Because I see it from the Dooku perspective, where I'm like, when that term comes up, and I know that you're going to pop your 1-pip, if I'm playing double the fall, I'm just playing the 2-pip, and I'm letting Grievous get you first. Or I'm playing the 1-pip, and I'm beating you there.
Yeah. I will say this because I want to say this while you're on this train of thought, and I don't mean to interrupt you because I
no. Let me know, because it's so interesting how you and I are on like either sides of the fence, not in a competitive way, but different opinions.
Well, I think we're gonna start seeing more disparity / like counters to characters. I feel like Dooku is a really good counter to Anakin. I feel like Maul is going to be a really good counter to Obi-Wan. Maybe Ahsoka is going to be a really good counter to someone else. Maybe it's going to be a game of rock paper scissors in no time. You know,
maybe Ahsoka counters Dooku. Maul. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah. Chancellor Palpatine, when he comes to the Republic, can counter Dooku. Be like,
oh man,
if Dooku's on the table, sacrifice him.
I would love to get a Palpatine. Can I say that? Like, it would be so fun to get a Palpatine, like Chancellor Palpatine. Make him similar to Emperor Palpatine, except maybe he only does one Force upgrade, or maybe his command cards are Force abilities, so it's more subtle.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that'd be cool.
So maybe it's like, oh, I get this ability, but he didn't use the Force, or maybe like he's just taking Force upgrades that are.
Palpatine, I think, has the chance to be the most reprinted mini in the game, because if they did that, they could do it for Darth Sidious for the droids. They could do Chancellor Palpatine for the Republic.
I got this. Okay,
yeah.
Because this is what I was thinking. His command card would be, he doesn't have any weapons. It could be like Anakin kind of thing, the permanence, where he's handing out like abilities. Like, he's building up keywords. He's like, oh, now I have Exemplar. Now I have this. Now I have this.
I'm too weak.
And then his 1-pip would be like, there is no mercy. Whatever he says to Maul when he's shocking the crap out
yeah,
of him.
have mercy.
And that card would be like, he gets lightsabers and lightning that turn.
That'd
And
be
it
cool.
could be wild where you're like, whoa.
Where did that
he just
come
went
from?
from being like a supportive character to being a super attack heavy character. And that would be way cool. Way cool. But
Back to Anakin.
Anakin,
though.
though. Yeah.
Sorry for this episode of Double Vision.
Double vision.
But yeah, so I think this flaw card is going to really bite us in the butt every once in a while. Well, like I said, I think it should only really bite you in the butt once. Learn from it, and then hopefully it never happens again. Maybe learn how you like to play Anakin, and then realize maybe I don't need that 1 pip. Maybe I don't need that 3, whatever it may be for you, how you play. Maybe you don't need those keywords as much, right? Like for someone that doesn't play super aggressively, maybe they like to do more of a standby thing. I don't see really why you need outmaneuver and relentless. Maybe you're just going to be there for when someone comes after your clones, you could just go right into melee combat, right? I don't know. Just spitballing here as far as like different abilities.
Well,
Swiss Army knife, not.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And he definitely opens up a lot of list building stuff. I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about list building for Anakin, but let's also talk about like the upgrade cards.
Oh
that
yeah,
are coming
absolutely.
in here, because I think these are ones that you'll have to take with him. Oh, Dr. Afra with Vader also.
I know.
That was so cool.
You
I
like
was
how you
sad
put
you
that-
beat me to it. I was going to say something, but I was at work, so.
Yeah, Dr. Afra is on the card for Force Barrier.
Yeah, Force Barrier. Which, by the way, I think is like one of the most powerful Force upgrades. Like, we were talking about this the other day. We're like, how do you make new Force upgrades that take the spots of stuff that's already there? This is super in contention.
Yeah.
That is so strong.
Well, you know how like and sorry, I not to
No, go ahead.
but you know how Luke Eddy was talking about how the next 4 expansions for Empire and Republic are going to be like they're going to be canon, but characters that aren't very popular or like weren't heavily requested. We had like the Callus and Lando leak quotation mark if it's real, but then I feel like this is like, oh, so you're talking about Afra? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it'd be so cool because, like, you know how Cassian has K2?
Yeah.
You could get Afra and, like, 000 or
Oh,
something.
dude.
And that'd be so cool. It'd be so cool because it could be, like, the antithesis. And maybe she's got, like, incognito and infiltrate and stuff. It'd be way cool.
Tries to kill Vader every day.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah.
back to the Force ability.
Yeah, so it's Force Barrier. I'll describe it just super quick for those that don't know. It's a Force ability, non-faction specific, and it says it's a tap. It's 10-point cost. While another friendly trooper unit at range 1 is defending against a ranged attack, during the modify attack dice step, cancel either 1 crit result or up to 2 hit results. Super strong.
I do like how it's just a straight up cancel, by the way.
And I'm really happy it happens at the modify attack dice step because during the modify attack dice step, this is your defending. When you get the way it works is you declare attacks, you gather your dice pools, you roll, you re-roll, you apply dodge and cover. Sorry, you surge and then you apply dodge and cover, then you modify. So things like impact will happen after the fact, which means that if let's say you're in heavy cover, I don't know, maybe you're a dewback and you've got armor 1, right? So that it triggers the impact, goes up to crit, and you're like, oh, I guess I'm gonna take that 1 crit. Well, then you just tap this, and you're like, psych, you take no damage. It's kind of nice.
And I like just how it's trooper, creature trooper, droid trooper, clone trooper,
Emplacement
trooper. Oh my gosh, force burying on a laser cannon.
Well, it's so funny too because my favorite place about this is if you are doing that backline defender, right? Because where do you get the most crits? Like where's the most? Like what units are throwing out 2 or 1 hits tops all the time? Snipers teams, right? Well, let's say snipers you can't dodge those because hyper velocity for half of them. Well, now you just force barrier cancel what they do. Let's say they get that 1 crit through because of sharpshooter into cover 1.
Yep.
Well, you just cancel their pierce because you can't apply pierce if there's no hits.
And it's
pierce applies on the defense when you're modifying the defense dice. So there's no hits to modify.
Right there, and it's not high velocity. So yeah, sure, I didn't get to use a dodge token, but hey, I got this. You know,
you do. Like situational, yes, but I think this is very powerful.
I think this card has Kenobi written all over it. Personally,
Yes.
Being able to Guardian 3 with Suresu if you did defensive stance to get 2 dodge tokens. So Guardian 2, dodge those, or Guardian with those dodge tokens, and then you cancel 2 more hits. Okay.
Well, and this even happens before you Guardian too. So it's like, okay, let me cancel everything
and
then
then
I'll just
see if I want to.
and then see if I want to. Oh, I do want to? I'll just take the rest. Let's say Kenobi went first and he used the other force ability, defensive stance. Just spend your 2 dodges.
Yep. I feel, and let's get into those cards too, offensive and defensive stance. Really simply, it's just defensive stances, you get 2 dodge tokens for 1, but you can't use aim tokens. And offensive is just the inverse of that with aim tokens, and you can't use dodge tokens. But with Exemplar on Anakin, Kenobi, or I guess Kenobi still couldn't use the aim tokens, but Kenobi can still Guardian those dodge tokens and block for Anakin if he aimed, right?
Yes.
So I think those two, I think we're going to see a lot of those 2 cards. Well, I guess they're the same card, right? You flip it over and it's offensive stance. Or have they clarified that actually? I don't think they have.
No, you flip it at the beginning of the turn. It says
No, but I just mean, like, do we know for certain that card flips over to the other stance? Or is that just kind of
like
guessing?
is it printed on the other side?
Yeah, because I don't think they specified in this article.
I would imagine it probably is because we already have other cards that flip.
Right.
So I would imagine it does because it says at the start of your activation you may flip this card, so it probably is.
Okay.
And
I love that it's not an action, by the way. Oh my gosh. I was worried that it was going to be an action.
I know, like, that'd be terrible. Like, you'd have to recover to flip it. That'd be dumb.
Well,
where do you think this gets used more other than Kenobi? Because I'll be honest, I was trying to think about Force users. I don't see Luke using it because his command cards give him dodges, and if he needs to aim, I guess Luke maybe if you're using it for the aims, but Dooku has 5 reds. He only needs 1 aim. Anakin only needs really 1 aim. Outside of passing tokens to clones, like where else are these useful?
I think this brings a whole lot of relevance to Palpatine guarding for Vader while they're marching up. I think that is something that I keep on wanting to see in this game with Palpatine pulling the strings on Vader, getting him up there. Oh, also, if you shoot at him, Palpatine's going to block. I don't know. I want to see it.
Do you think maybe in the future we'll get Inquisitors, and this will help a lot
Oh
with those?
my gosh, wouldn't that be something?
Because I only see these being super relevant.
Oh
for
my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. Oh, I just freaking had a brain moment. Big brain.
The light bulb went off.
There's no limit on this.
What?
When Empire gets Inquisitors, let's say you run 3 Force users.
Like just generic Inquisitors.
Yeah, or just like when Jedi are a thing. Like run 3 Jedi with Ahsoka being an operative, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka. 3 people can Force Barrier on 1 attack. There's no limit.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
It's a lot. When you take it on Anakin and Kenobi, like, you got to get a lot of hits to get through.
Yeah.
Granted, it's just for each other or for other people, but, like...
But, like, it's that fire-supported Z6 is, like, that's going to hurt.
It's a lot. Well, all right, a caveat, we haven't seen the RRG rules for these.
Sure.
We have not
also,
seen those.
again, going back to what you said earlier, like, that's kind of like a perfect situation.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, no, you did 6 hits, no crits, I'm in heavy cover? Cancel all of
also, if you take Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka, who are you guardianing for? You have no list.
You have
after
no
that.
points. You're running 3 phase 1s, and they're just holding objectives.
6 activation, double ATST.
Well, the funny thing is, like, when I was trying to make lists today for this, it's easy to make a 9 or 10 activation list that has, like, Anakin in it. It is. It's super easy because he's a little cheaper. But I kind of want to run a 9 activation Kenobi Anakin list. I think everybody in the world's going to do that. But
It's
that's
hard
just where
to squeeze
I see
that 10 activations, too. I've
It
tried.
is.
And I
But
don't,
that's Yeah, I saw Anakin and Rex being really cool, like running a 501st list, because you could get 10 acts with that. And I actually think that's extremely strong, because by that point, you're not really using Anakin as your pounding hammer. You're kind of using him for the exemplar, because the stances give him 2 tokens to pass out every turn. Plus, he has reliable 2, so he's just a good battery for your clones. But when the time comes for him to fight, he can fight.
Here, I'm calling it now. Anakin, when you play him, he's going to lift his hammer. Sometimes he's going to hit a nail, and it's going to be very satisfying. But other times he hits a baby, and it's not so satisfying.
Well,
I mean,
depends.
He did kill younglings.
He did. He did. It was funny because on the
It was funny 'cause he
so
killed
funny.
kids.
Well, on the Discord today, as people were talking about Anakin, they're like, he's gonna hit so hard. On the Legion Discord, their personal emojis. One of them is the kid that's like, Master Skywalker. Gonna do? So when they're talking about how strong you hit, I would go and I would post that emoji there.
What are we going to do?
Oh, it's so funny. But
One thing I'm super shocked by on Anakin that I thought for sure he'd be getting is that he is not getting a command card that gives him teamwork Padme. Or anyone. But I thought for sure Padme would be because they said like Padme and Anakin are going to synergize really well. And they do. Like Padme's card that's going to be able to just remove suppression token by any amount. That's going to be really good.
The exemplar she has and the exemplar he has is going to be really nice.
Yeah.
Because when he needs dodges or when he really is dying for standbys, that's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. Potential to attack twice in one activation, too, with that. Like, I mean, of course, that's any standby, but, like, to move and then have Relentless, right? Like, that's really good.
Yeah. It's going to be nice. It's going to be pretty cool. Yeah. And Master of the Force, I think that's just... yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't have it on his card. But, like, I get it, 160.
Yeah, and I get that they wanted to show that, like, he was growing, like, in power. But that's another of my big concerns. I was like, I'm sure he'll be fine. People will figure out how to use him, and they'll not really care too much. Well, let's actually talk about that real quick. I mean, like, which command cards do you take? Do you take all 3 command cards? Because this was a debate going on in the Discord, the 801st Discord, and I agree. I don't know. Like, I think you take all 3. Just because you need that reliable 2. Mm-hmm. You need that Master of the Force. You need that. What order do you play these cards in?
Well, I think the predictable way is to do a countdown, right? You do the 3 pip. You're going to be range 1 to 2 anyway, so you don't have to worry about it. And then you do the 2 pip. Okay, if he didn't activate first, he gains 1 suppression. But by then, hopefully, terrain dependent, that activation gets you out of line of sight of anyone, so you're fine. So you hopefully get rid of it. But then it becomes a predictable point where it's like 3, 2, 1. Oh, so he's going to play his 1 pip now.
Flaw card.
Yeah, exactly.
I beat him. I get a Dooku effect. I win.
And I think that's a valid criticism that everyone has for him, that he's going to be kind of predictable with his command cards. But I think there's a way to throw your opponent for a loop. Oh, you thought I was going to do... This was where the fun begins? Sorry, I'm actually just doing ambush. Like, I'm just going to do that. And then I'm actually going to give it... Or no. Let's say I do assault, and then I have 5s on my team. So now, because I knew you'd do my flaw card, I'm just going to be able to issue orders to almost everyone, and then have like a 50-50 chance. So...
that works actually pretty well with like seize the initiative, so you can get your operatives and stuff commands on that turn.
Oh, which we didn't talk about yet.
Which we didn't talk about.
So let's talk about that real quick.
Can I just say I'm really happy it's not cunning?
Oh yeah, card. How people thought it. Yeah,
I really thought it was going to be, and I was going to be really pissed because I feel like giving cunning on a command card, even for 1 turn, immediately just says "F you" to anybody that has cunning, and I get that. I get why it would be good and why it'd be so strong, but it would immediately devalue the cost of that keyword and the importance of that keyword. Because suddenly, if it's like Syndrome said, if everybody's cunning, nobody has it.
Issue order step. Oh, sorry. No, I just answered my own question.
It's just HQ uplinks,
that's
but
right.
For
one time
for operatives and commanders.
Yeah. Okay. And that's fine. I don't see myself using this until like I see something potential in a list I make. I don't know.
I actually see this coming. Like if you're playing Double the Fall, for example, you take this.
Oh yeah, well
because like especially if you're doing droids, because
it's just one turn that you need to worry about.
Yeah, and you were already able to do that, but let's say you needed to pop off a little early, or you forgot your HQs for some reason. It's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Let's say you've got Cassian, but you still need Luke to get in order.
Yeah, that's true. I do kind of wish that, and I get it. I feel like why even have a flaw card if there's going to be a way to get around it? But I kind of wish that this kind of skirted away. Like if you played it right, maybe you could get around the whole you can't get an order this turn. But the way they worded it is very clear. Like Anakin's not going to get an order that round. Now he can still activate when you pull his coin or his token. But I don't know. I don't know. I see your point about the double the fall lists and stuff like that for season initiative. To me, it's okay.
I'm sure there'll be places, and like maybe I need to think harder about like the older units and where they can work, like Han and Chewbacca and
Yeah.
stuff. But I don't know. I'm sure that'll be a place because I've heard a lot of people talking about Cassian, and I think that is a very valid place to take it.
Yeah.
My biggest issue is that the training upgrade is, in my opinion, the most important upgrade other than the Force ability upgrade, and that's a very highly contested place.
Yeah.
It just
No,
is.
very. And that's kind of a nice thing about Anakin that he's gonna have 2.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. He's gonna want a lot of stuff.
I almost have no desire. Like, I feel like tenacity is such a mainstay on my saber wielders. On Anakin, I have almost no desire to put tenacity on there.
See, I've been wondering about that because I kind of want tenacity on him because then he's throwing 6 reds.
Mm-hmm.
He's throwing his Vader dice pool.
Yeah.
Granted, it doesn't make any difference for the saber throw, but you could put anger on there.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't like anger. I think the big thing is we don't know what hatred is yet.
Oh.
And that comes out with Maul, and that's gonna be a dark side one.
Oh, you're right.
And I think everybody is freaking out already, but I think hatred is probably gonna be one that's like, up, that's
Anakin.
going on Anakin.
Yeah.
That's right there.
Ugh, that's true.
Anger leads to fear leads to hate. Hate leads to anger.
Is there a character that? Well, obviously not. Never mind.
Oh, is it anger leads to hate?